Welcome back, everyone. Today we have a little snowflake that's going to tell us why she's a feminist. Now, I know what you're thinking. We've heard this type of crap before, and you're right, we have. But I couldn't resist this one because I found her accent in several places to be quite amusing. I don't mean to disparage the poor girl because English is obviously not her native tongue, but her pronunciations did make me giggle a few times, so I thought I'd share that and take on her reasons for being a blind sheep. So let's meet today's precious little angel.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aileen. If you're new here, welcome. Today I'm going to do my first ever 100 layers off video, and since I wanted to do a video about feminism, I thought I would do them both at the same time. So this is 100 reasons why I am a feminist.
Wait, did you just say 100 reasons?
So this is 100 reasons why I am a feminist.
You did. Fuck me. Did I ever pick the wrong video to respond to? 100? Shit. Better get some aspirin, this is gonna hurt. A lot.
I'm a feminist because feminism is the definition of a belief in the social, political, and economic equality of the sexes. Which basically just means that no matter what gender you have, you should have the same rights and opportunities as everyone else.
Oh goody! You've read the dictionary. Yay! Now, look up Democratic Republic and tell me that's what North Korea is because it says it's one. A movement isn't defined by a dictionary, sweet cheeks. It's defined by its actions.
Because we learn girls to be careful instead of teaching boys not to rape.
See? Told you her accent was amusing in places. Learn girls. And yes, we do teach girls to be responsible for their own safety. That's called empowerment. Silly me, I thought that's what feminists wanted. I mean, they say it all the time, so you can understand my confusion. As for teaching boys not to rape, pretty sure we do actually do that. You know, by outlawing it, by condemning it in public opinion all across the headlines when it happens, by throwing men in jail when they are convicted of committing it, by ruining their lives when they're even accused of it, whether or not it actually happened. What other lessons do you think boys need?
Because 15 million young girls are forced into marriage every single year.
Okay, you didn't actually provide a source for this number, but I think I've dug up where you got it from. It comes from Girls Not Brides website, and at least as far as I can tell, does seem to be relatively accurate. However, sneaky little feminist, you're cleverly leaving out some vital parts of the information. First, let's make clear what we're talking about here. These are marriages that occur before a girl is 18. Well, 18 is a Western standard for adulthood. So are you suggesting that we need to export our arbitrary threshold to other cultures and tell them that they're wrong? I mean, 18 wasn't always the cutoff age for adulthood in the Western world either. Girls were frequently married in the early US at age 16, some even earlier. I'd have to check it out to be sure, but I believe in some states a girl still can get married at 16 with parental approval. It may sound shocking to you because it's not what you're used to, but biologically speaking, adulthood begins after puberty, and many cultures still accept that as the bar, as did many Western nations before the Industrial Revolution. Adolescence is a 20th century invention. Yet now, because we've changed, you want to suggest to every other country on earth that you know what's right and they have to do it your way. Ethnocentric much? Next, you'll notice the overwhelming majority of this occurs in developing countries. Take a look at the map. Pretty darn rare in the industrialized nations or Western democracies. Now, why might that be? Because they're largely poor countries. Poverty, real persistent poverty, is an everyday thing that these people are trying to deal with. Marrying off your daughter is one less mouth you have to feed, clothe, and educate. It may sound harsh to you, but these people are trying to survive as best they can, and reducing the family's financial burdens as much as possible is a big help. Instead of just screaming sexism and men suck, perhaps you should try helping these people get out of poverty instead. You see, there's a variety of reasons why this sort of thing happens, and evil sexist men selling daughters like cattle is one of the smallest pieces of the puzzle. But thanks to feminists, that's the only piece we bother to talk about anymore. And generally, we only talk about it when feminists try to use these poor countries as a reason for more feminism in the West. Kind of sad if you ask me. Appropriating real issues from around the world to stop the horrible practice of manspreading on a New York subway. Feminists with a conscience or any self-awareness should feel ashamed of their movement at this point.
Because when I was younger and played soccer, everyone around me kept referring to it as women's soccer and not just soccer.
For fuck's sake. First world problems, anyone? Look, fruitcake, it's called women's soccer so that fans know which soccer match they're going to watch. If we just called it soccer with no descriptors, then some fans would likely get pissed off when they arrive at the game and find out it's not a game they actually wanted to watch. Now, I know that little noodle in your head is just twisting right now with the question you're about to blurt out, if you haven't already. Why isn't it called men's soccer then? Because men were playing this game on a professional level long before women were. There was no need to add a descriptor then because there was only one soccer. When you make something new, it's up to you to distinguish it somehow from the original, like adding the descriptor women's. I'm very sorry if reality upsets you so much, but you're going to have to put on your big girl panties and deal with it anyway, okay?
Because many people still think that it's okay to sexualize my body.
Like yourself, apparently. Your channel is just full of makeup videos and trying on clothes, some that are a bit revealing, but I'm sure you just do that for yourself, right? It's not meant at all to get attention or make yourself look sexy in any way, is it? Look, Pumpkin, we're a sexual species. It's biology. Men are going to look at you, and the animal part of our brain is going to instantly decide whether or not we want to sleep with you. It's automatic. We don't intentionally do it, and we can't intentionally stop it either. It happens without any conscious input on our part at all. It's instantaneous. The thinking part comes after that. This is when our conscious mind begins to override our subconscious decision. Let me give you an example to illustrate. The very instant I saw your video, with no conscious thought at all, my brain said, "Ooh, pretty girl." Then I listened to you, and my conscious brain overruled that instinctive reaction. The result? You were a desirable object until you revealed the person you are. Now you couldn't pay me to sit through a coffee break with you, much less anything else. For other women, things happen in reverse. They're not overly attractive objects initially, but then they start talking and become desirable people. So yes, it does work both ways. The point is, no matter how much you wish it, that's not going to change. It's biology.
I'm a feminist because girls still get blamed for being raped. Because she wasn't wearing enough clothes, or she was out alone too late at night, or her no was not convincing enough.
Bullshit. That's really all I need to say here. Rape victims are not blamed for their rape. Until you can show me one case where a rapist walked free because the judge said the victim was dressed provocatively, I'm not even going to entertain this narrative. Hell, we even interview convicted rapists, and they tell us it had little or nothing to do with what she was wearing. So I'm just going to call bullshit here and move on.
Because nipples of a woman are still not allowed on social media.
Well, I suggest you get with other women on this one, because I can almost guarantee you that men want to see them. Of course, when you do so, don't be surprised when men do look at them. You can't have it both ways, dearie.
Because 97% of all of the rapists doesn't have to spend a single day in jail.
Wrong. 97% of people accused of rape, maybe. You can only say 97% of rapists if you've already decided that they're all guilty. Fortunately, the criminal justice system doesn't work on that principle. See the problem? You're calling them all rapists without evidence that they actually did anything. Slander much? But hey, false rape accusations never happen, right?
I'm a feminist because people like Sam Pepper are supported by people and are still getting praised and views.
Okay, I admit, I had to Google this one because I've never heard of the guy. But a quick search and a little digging showed me that your narrative is a bit off here. Seems like the vast majority of his audience at the time of this article did not approve or praise him. And seems more like he opened a shitstorm of criticism from his own fans and drew the ire of Anonymous as well. Not to mention the rather negative press coverage in the articles I saw. So yeah, just because people watched this crap doesn't mean they approved of it.
Because non-binary people are ignored.
There's a reason for that. I went over this in my last video, so I'm not going to say it again here, but the bottom line is this. Non-binary people don't exist. It's very easy to ignore things when they don't exist.
Because I'm not wearing makeup to impress anyone, especially not boys.
So all that makeup is because you just enjoy looking at yourself in the mirror? The tight-fitting, low neckline, revealing clothes you try on are just because you want to see your own body? You're either very narcissistic or just full of shit. I won't say which, you can pick.
Because sexistic, racist, and homophobic jokes are not funny, and they've literally never been.
Sexistic? Another one where you made me giggle. It's just sexist, hun. But yeah, jokes are funny. Well, some jokes anyway. Some are, some aren't. Kind of the nature of any art, really. Some people will like it or get it, and some won't. Thankfully, neither you nor I are the sole arbiters of what other people are allowed to find funny or not. Just because you don't see the humor in it doesn't mean no one else does. Stop trying to steal other people's laughs. For heaven's sakes, the real world is a rather dismal and depressing place most of the time. Let people laugh. They need it.
Because according to Wikipedia, 500,000 young girls are raped every single year in South Africa.
Okay, so, I looked on Wikipedia and it says 100,000, not 500,000. So I'm guessing you just got your number wrong then? I mean, I wouldn't just assume that you're overinflating a number to make it sound worse than it really is or anything. Feminists never do that. At any rate, 100,000 is still a problem, and I'll agree to that. Hell, in my opinion, one is too many. But I fail to see how feminism is even trying to fix a South African problem. Is that what they're discussing in those safe spaces? Is that what they're trying to do when they pull fire alarms and protest male suicide conferences? Is that what the Duluth model is supposed to fix? Because I gotta tell you, if that's what they're trying to do, then I'm really, really sorry for not listening. All this time, I thought they were just trying to stop men from talking at all or something. You can understand my confusion.
Because women are decoration in films and video games.
Women are also characters in films and video games. Men are decoration in films and video games. Or are you telling me those Calvin Klein ads are not totally the same thing? 'Cause I'm sure you wouldn't be just cherry-picking one side to make something an issue, would you?
Because most comedians are using women as their punchlines.
Assertions without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. But hell, men are punchlines too. Stand-up routines, sitcoms, and movies. Comedy is about making people laugh. You think people only find women's behavior humorous? Or is it that people finding women's behavior humorous is bad and we should exempt women from the harsh, terrible world of laughing? Look, Snowflake, people do say and behave in funny ways sometimes, men and women. Comedians just draw our attention to these things so we can have a good laugh about it. Lighten up and laugh more. The world is a little more tolerable when you can laugh at things, including yourself.
Because I have to watch my drink at bars and clubs and parties.
Yeah, well, that's not just a woman thing. That's a smart thing. The world's full of crazies doing crazy shit to everyone. It's better to protect yourself as best you can. Besides, some very smart guys made nail polish just for you that detects the presence of date rape drugs. But according to your feminist allies there, that's sexist too. They help you out with something easy and they're sexists. They don't? They're sexists. Are you starting to see why people are beginning to just ignore your ideology yet? We've stopped wasting our time trying to make you happy because you won't be, no matter what we do.
I'm a feminist because the excuse boys will be boys are still frequently used.
Yeah, by feminists as a straw man. No one else uses this shit. At least not in the context that you crazies do. Come back to the real world. Reality might be scary sometimes, but it's never as scary as the places in your infantilized brains.
Because girls are taught in school that once they have sex, they lose a part of themselves.
Well, if this is true, and I doubt it is, but I'd say that's a problem with your school. My sister went to the same school I did, and she was never taught that stupid shit. None of the girls in any of my classes were taught that shit. None of the women I've ever known were taught that stupid shit either. So either you're making this up, or there's a problem with your school. Either way, it sure doesn't seem like it's as common as you'd like it to be. Good thing, too, it's fucking stupid. If someone actually taught you this, then they're a moron, and you should immediately stop listening to them. They're making you dumber.
Because beauty products are often promoted by women.
Because beauty products are often purchased by women. It's called targeted marketing, sweetie. It happens with everything. They're trying to sell their product to the people most likely to buy it. It's not an evil patriarchal conspiracy to denigrate women. They're trying to appeal to you so you'll give them your money.
Because whenever a guy is hitting on me and I'm not interested, the only reasonable excuse is the I have a boyfriend card, because men respect other men more than they do women.
Pretty unlikely this happens all that often, but the few times I've personally had this happen to me, it was the first words out of their mouth. It wasn't like they said, not interested first, then used that. Nope. It was something like, hi, nice to meet you, can I buy you a drink or something? I have a boyfriend. Boom. It seems to me, on the receiving end of this statement, that it's just your way of setting the boundaries straight from the get-go. However, yes, there are some persistent guys out there who will require more than a simple not interested reply. Why? Because they've heard that dozens of times from women who were interested but wanted the thrill of being chased. They learned that persistence sometimes pays off. Reward a dog with a biscuit and he's going to keep doing it. So don't blame men, blame women for rewarding bad behavior.
I'm a feminist because what I have between my legs should not affect or determine my level of success.
Well, good thing it doesn't. Unfortunately, in your case, what's going to hold you back are the contents of your head.
Because catcalling is not a fucking compliment, and it has never been.
Yes, it was. And yes, it still can be. Is it always? No. But sometimes, and depends on what was said. You might find this hard to believe, but some women actually do like it. It gives them a little confidence boost for a while and makes them feel good about themselves. That could be a nice thing if she's having a shitty day, don't you think? This may shock you, I know, but not every woman on the planet thinks like you do. Thank God.
Because bisexuals, asexuals, and transgenders are not taken seriously.
Well, to address this one, I guess I'm going to have to wait for you to tell me what seriously means in this context, because I'm afraid I just don't know. I mean, bisexual people exist. I know a few of them. Transsexual people exist. I know a few of them too. Nice people. The ones I know anyway. A little weird, but so is everybody else in their own little ways. Asexual though, yeah, I'm afraid I just don't buy this one. I think this is more of a temporary state of mind than a permanent thing. I mean, asexual just means without sexual feelings or associations. Shit, there are times when I'm not interested in sex either, but that doesn't make me asexual. Given the biological imperative we all have, I highly doubt that anyone is like this all of the time.
Because of the obvious wage gap. And that's even worse for women of color.
Son of a bitch. I knew this was going to come up. I was hoping against hope that it wouldn't, but there it is. I really don't have the energy to keep debunking this stupid shit. Wait. Here we go.
The wage gap is simply the average earnings of men and women working full-time. It does not count for different job positions, hours worked, or different jobs. It has nothing to do with the same job. It has nothing to do with discrimination.
Thanks, Chew. I really need to get one of those buttons.
Because it happens that women get punished for being raped.
Please! Women don't even get punished for false rape claims. How the fuck do you think they get punished for being raped? Oh, shit. Wait, unless Unless you're talking about Islam. Under Sharia law, yes. Might be a good reason for you and your feminist hive mind to wake up and smell the oppression that is Islam, don't you think? Maybe you should get together with your feminist imams and hash that out, huh? Because here in the West, men don't approve of this shit either. But you won't let us even address it because, oh my God, Islamophobic bigot!
I'm a feminist because the woman body is discriminated, sexualized, and objectified every single day.
Oh look, a repeat! Running out of reasons already? I thought you said you had 100 of these. If you're just going to keep repeating these over and over again, then maybe this won't take so long after all.
Because I have to explain why I'm a feminist.
Fuck me. This is literally the single dumbest reason for being anything I've ever heard. I'm a smoker because I have to explain why I'm a smoker. Thanks for the laugh, son. I was starting to get a bit of a headache there.
Because stopping legal abortion will not stop abortion. It will only stop unsafe abortions.
Yeah, this one's not really an easy answer for me. I have kind of a complicated view on this topic that maybe I'll address in a video of its own at some point. The short answer is I agree and I disagree at the same time because it's not a one-size-fits-all issue in my book. However, I will say abortion is already legal in the U.S., and so I don't know why you need feminism, at least here anyway.
Because people use the hashtag #AllLivesMatter.
And all lives don't matter? Or is it just that certain lives matter more? Pigs are more equal, you know.
Because, I mean, a girl cannot be mad or annoyed without being on her period, obviously.
Sure she can. Girls get mad all the time. Frequently about petty, nonsensical shit that a guy wouldn't even notice, too. If I thought it was always about periods, then hell, I'd probably believe that you have a period 4 weeks out of every month.
Because Saudi Arabia prohibits women from driving.
Why, yes, they do. It's called Islam. Again. Got that feminist matriarchal conference planned yet?
I'm a feminist because pussy is used as an insult. I mean, I'm gladly pussy, but...
Gynocentric much? This term derives from pusillanimous, not vagina. It means lack of courage or determination. A man called a pussy is indeed an insult, but not because it has anything to do with women.
Because our clothes are seen as consent.
You put the emphasis on the wrong syllable there, dear. It's consent. But no, you're repeating yourself again here. Show me one single case where a judge let an accused rapist off because the girl was wearing something revealing.
Because some people still seem to think that there are only two genders.
Yenders. I'm guessing you're Norwegian? Maybe. I mean, they're the only people I know that have trouble pronouncing G's in English. It's genders. And again, I addressed this in my previous video, and I'm not going to be bothered to go through it all again with you. There are only two genders.
Because 1 in 3 men would rape if they knew that they would get away with it.
Nope. Try again. Since you didn't provide any evidence to support your claim, I should just dismiss it. But instead, I'll be nice and give you a link to one of the many reasons why that number is utter bullshit.
I'm a feminist because of the patriarchy.
Accent giggle again. English can be a confusing language. Not making fun of you, dear, just gives me the giggles when people screw up our words. It's patriarchy with a K sound for future reference. And patriarchy theory is total horse shit. I'm not even going to waste my time giving you links on this one. It's just horse shit.
Because American Apparel thinks that this is good advertising.
They got your attention, didn't they? That's good advertising.
Because I've been sexually assaulted several times. In fact, so many that I've lost count.
First, I don't believe you. And second, This is what happens when you broaden the definition of sexual assault to include literally everything you just don't like.
I'm a feminist because a person like Donald Trump could become the president of the United States.
And? Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot. Donald Trump is the king of the misogyny guild. In our secret chambers at midnight, when all men get together to plot the oppression of all women, Mr. Trump is hoisted up on the dais and praised for his undying devotion to trampling the female spirit.
Because the expression, like a girl, is used way too frequently.
You mean when something is done the way a girl would do it, you're insulted? What's the matter? You don't think girls can do things right or something?
Because I'm more than just a pretty face.
The more you talk, the less likely that becomes.
Because some people think that feminism is a synonym to crazy.
And you're not doing anything to dispel that perception at all.
I'm a feminist because same-sex marriage is still illegal in a lot of countries.
That's a gay rights issue. They've been fighting for it a lot longer than feminism has. Now you just want to jump in and take credit for something when they're finally beginning to achieve it. Why am I not surprised?
Because every dollar a white man earns in America, an Hispanic woman earns 56 cents for the same position.
It's been here before.
I recognize that tree.
Because whenever I say, that was pretty sexist of you, to either like a friend or someone I'm around and I'm kind of confronting them, they will immediately almost scream at my face, "It was a joke!" As if sexism is funny.
We've been over this before too. You're not the arbiter of humor.
Because whenever there's a discussion about rape culture, someone will always bring up, well, there's some girls who report false rapes. And although that's true, it happens, as does false reports in literally everything, no matter what you're talking about. There are false reports, but only less than 1% of all of the rapes that are reported, not to even mention the ones that are not reported because people are scared to report. Less than 1%. You can't use that in an argument. It's so irrelevant.
False. I'll give you a link in the description that explains this in more detail, but the actual false reporting numbers are anywhere from 2 to 10%. And even that, it is very important to note that this does not mean that 90% are true. Only that 2 to 10% are provably false. In the case of this particular review that I'm going to give you, they do not count claims as false if they can't prove they are false. But that doesn't mean they can prove them true either. In many cases, there simply isn't enough evidence to prove it one way or the other, so they don't count these as false rape claims.
Because society thinks that showing weakness is girly.
Ah, society looms its ugly head, an amorphous blob that is no one and everyone at the same time. The boogeyman, so I can claim anything I wish and no one can prove it wrong. Whatever. We've been over this point before, too. That's 5 repeats in the first 50, by the way.
Because when I was younger, I wanted to dye my hair brown because people kept on making so many jokes about blonde girls are so dumb, as if hair color actually defines your IQ level.
Is this why feminists dye their hair such flashy colors? Seriously, again, you're not the arbiter of humor. My sister's a blonde, and she thinks those jokes are quite funny. You know why? Because she's well aware that she isn't stupid.
I'm a feminist because 47,000 women die every single year because of unsafe abortions.
In the developing world, according to the link you referenced, how exactly does feminism plan to address this issue? More female CEOs at Western corporations going to fix that or something? More female representatives in the U.S. Congress going to stop that from happening? Really, I'm curious because every time I've heard a feminist mention abortion rights, they're talking about Western countries where it's pretty much widely available and legal to do already.
Because girls all over the world are denied education because of their gender.
Well, in the West, girls outnumber boys in school. So I can only assume you're talking about developing countries, in which case boys are also denied education. It's not gender stopping most of these girls and boys, it's poverty. But I know, think of the women's! Holy hell! We're only halfway through this insanity, and I've just noticed we're already past the half-hour point. So, out of respect for my viewers, I'm going to cut the little snowflake off here for now. Don't worry, Pumpkin, we'll get back to you in a second video. I just don't want viewers to feel like they have to watch an hour-long shit show all at once or anything. There's really only so much obvious brain damage a person can handle at one time before they start catching it. So, that's it for this time, folks. Remember to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in a little while for part 2 of the mind-boggling stupidity from our special guest.